Namaste to all and hearty welcome to yet another session of Gurukula from Team Easy Ayurveda. I welcome all our participants and family Easy Ayurveda to this session, 16th episode of Easy Ayurveda Gurukula. Hope we'll all have a wonderful learning time. On behalf of Easy Ayurveda, may I have the privilege of welcoming the guest speaker of today's evening, Dr. Anaga TV. Dr. Anaga TV is currently working as assistant professor in Department of Chikitsa in RKM Ayurveda Medical College, Bijapur. She holds a post-graduation degree in Manasaroga. Dr. Anaga will be presenting a very interesting topic today, toxic stress and its management in Ayurveda. Dr. Anaga, over to you.
Let me begin with the quote of Margaret Mead, an American anthropologist. The solution to adult problem tomorrow depend on large measure upon how our children grow up today. Coming to my topic, so let me brief the stages of belief development in the beginning. First, the imprint period, it ranges from 0 to 7. Confusion and blind belief associated with this period can lead to early development of trauma and other neurological problems. From 18 to 13, its modeling period and the environment surrounding the person can have extreme effect upon them during this period. During the socialization period, that is 13 to 21, during this period, the children are strongly influenced by their peers and their relationship and social values develop during this period. Do you feel all the stress are harmful to us? It's not so. There is something called positive stress, normal and essential for healthy development of the person, and it is characterized by brief increase in heart rate and mild elevation in hormone levels. For example, in condition like we are meeting new people and we are learning new skills, so this positive stress is very important for us. Tolerable stress. You know about this tolerable stress. Tolerable stress response activates the body's alert system to a greater degree as a result of more severe, long-lasting difficulties such as loss of loved ones, natural disaster, frightening injury. If this activation time is limited and buffered by the relationship with adults who help the child to adapt, the brain and other organ recover from what might otherwise be the damaging effect. So before going to the toxic stress, let me brief about what is adverse childhood experiences. Adverse childhood experiences are nothing but stressful or traumatized, developmentally prepared, or else that violates the laws of social experiences in childhood. Emotional, physical, or sexual abuse, or physical and or emotional neglect. This results in toxic stress. Toxic stress response can occur when a child is experiencing strong, frequent, and prolonged adversity, such as physical or emotional abuse, neglect, caregivers, substance abuse, and exposure to violence, accumulation of a family economic hardship without adequate adult support. In this kind, prolonged activation of stress response system can interrupt the brain architecture and other organ system damage will happen, and there will be increased risk of stress related diseases and cognitive impairment well into adult years. So let me brief about the signs of neglect. Neglect can be just occasional inattention and even severe neglect. In occasional inattention, intermittent, diminished attention in an otherwise responsive environment. It can be growth promoting under caring condition. And chronic understimulation is nothing but ongoing diminished level of child-focused responsiveness and developmental enrichment, and it often leads to developmental delays. And severe neglect in a family context, it is significant ongoing absence of severe and return interaction, often associated with failure to provide for basic needs. Wide range of adverse impact from significant developmental impairment to immediate threat to the health or survival happens due to the severe neglect in family context. But severe neglect happens in an institutional setting. For example, like Warhorse-like condition with many children will be there and very few caregivers will be there, and no individualized adult-child relationship is reliably responsive. In that condition, actually the basic survival needs of the child is met over there. But the lack of individualized adult responsiveness can lead to severe impairment in cognitive, physical, and psychological development. Let me discuss about the biological response to stress. So, the stressor is perceived by the sensory system of the brain, which evaluate and compare the stressful challenge with existing state and previous stress experience of the organism. The brain activates a autonomous nervous system which through the SAM system triggers the rapid release of catecholamine, noradrenaline and adrenaline. Then the brain simultaneously activates hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis, which results in release of adrenal corticoids and cortisol. So what happens in toxic stress? For a kid with toxic stress, the activity of prefrontal cortex is inhibited in two ways. This overactive amygdala sends message to the prefrontal cortex that something dangerous thing is happening, and at the same time, secondly, the lucus cerebrus is flooding the brain with noradrenaline, compromising the ability to override the instincts and impulses. So if a child's AC score is more than 4, that may result in autoimmune diseases, diabetes, sometimes depression, obesity, drug abuse like alcohol abuse and other drug abuse. How we have to understand there is adverse childhood experiences in a person. There is a standardized questionnaire of adverse childhood experience and which carries 10 questions, and each question carries one score. So more the adverse childhood experiences, more their effect will be. These are few articles where as per this article the use of tobacco product is more in the children who had adverse childhood experiences, and adverse childhood experiences have effect on suicidal attempts, and as per this study I see adverse childhood experiences are significantly associated with lifetime suicide attempts, and even the mental and substance use disorders are controlled. As per the adverse childhood experience and the pregnancy outcome, as per this, like mother's delivery of offspring that were reduced birth weight and shorter gestational age, it has effect on the pregnancy outcome also. As per this article, there is significant relation between adverse childhood experiences and subclinical hypothyroidism in pregnancy. How we can manage this condition? There are a lot of negative outcome, and only way is that we have to manage this condition with positive outcome, and we have to balance it. Balance the negative outcome with positive outcome. As per modern, one stable and committed relationship with supportive parent, caregiver or other adult, and healthy diet like eating food that are high in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, fibers from fruits, vegetables and whole grain has to be taken. Exercise, yoga and meditation can be done. As per Ayurveda, how it will be? What might be the dana of this toxic stress and all? So here, manasah punarishtasya labha cha anishtasya upajayate. Here, anishta priya viyogadi labha cha shokadeha. So here, anishta labha. All these adverse childhood experiences can be considered as anishta labha. That is anishta priya viyogadi labha cha shokadeha. All sort of grief, all sort of the adverse experiences that we are facing can be considered as anishtasya labha. And according to Charakacharya, prajnaparadha is the root cause for all the diseases. Di dhridi smriti vibhramshtah karmayat kurute yashubham prajnaparadham tam vidhyat sarvadosha prakopanam. Here, any act that committed due to the lack of dhi, that is di vibhrama, dhridi vibhrama and smruti vibhrama, is considered as prajnaparadha if it results in an untoward effect. So, what is di? And what is Di Vibhrama? Di is a process of analyzing various data received by the mind through sensory faculties. In this process, mind integrate and evaluate the data procured through the various faculties and verify them with data bank in the memory. From health point of view, the outcome of intellectual process is very important so that one can make proper choices in conflict situation. In conflict situation, we have to make choices like we have to do it, we have to know, we should not do it, or something else we have to do it. All these choices we have to make when conflict arises, and if these proper, then only we can decide to avoid unhygienic environment and material which can cause contamination of microbes. If these proper, then only we can decide to perform physical exertion adequately. If these proper, then only we can decide to avoid suppression of natural urges, we can decide to avoid company of people involved in immoral activities. So either by nature or under the influence of emotions like fear, sadness, anger, offense, jealousy, and lack of confidence, our ability to discriminate will deteriorate. So, because of this, the Vibramsha results in prajnaparadha. So, the Vibramsha is main thing in decision making. So, what about Dhriti? We all are aware that like smoking is injurious to health, and everywhere they have written like advertisement like smoking causes cancer, but still people tend to abuse it, right? The people tend to smoke, and the people are habituated to do alcohol abuse, smoking, everything. Like, it's not because they are not knowing the adverse effect. Even though they know the adverse effect, they are unable to control themselves. Here, lack of willpower make them indulging in such activities. In such situations, emotions will rule the intelligence, and the person will get affected with addictions, and the person will be getting affected with fear, sadness, anger, and person will overindulge in sex. The person will get depressed due to silly reasons. The person will be very anxious about the future, and the person will develop excessive jealous, all those things. So these all about Dhriti Vibramsha and Smruthi Vibramsha. We are born with many instinctual memories like sucking reflex, excretory, breathing, crying, etc. So in due course of growth, we are learning like new things, and until we acquire the basic knowledge that is needed for the survival, we all were assisted by parents and elders. And whatever the positive life event that is experiencing during this period or emotions, like during the growth period, whatever the positive emotions are experienced by the person, that will be converted into positive emotions like happiness, confidence, courage, strength, and self-respect. And whatever the negative incidents like psychic traumas, unpleasant experience, all these things, whatever adverse childhood experiences we have told before, all the things that is causing toxic stress, all the adverse childhood adversities, all the abuse, all the neglect, that will result in negative, that will be associated with negative memories and negative emotions. And that these negative emotions will manifest like what and all negative emotions will get manifested: fear, sadness, anger, jealousy, envy, greed, hopelessness, helplessness, guilt, lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, lack of courage, and strength are going to manifest. This excessive accumulation of negative emotion can mask the memory or adversely affect the quality of memory in situation like diminished memory and hidden memory. Due to this mass memory, and what happens, person will be making repeated mistake due to improper retrieval of past experiences. Sometimes the person will be behaving like a child without expressing the maturity gained through the life, and they may lose their willpower, confidence that they have gained from the past experiences, and they'll start behaving unconsciously, and they may develop with unexpected physical illness due to the unconscious masked emotions. So we have discussed now that prajnaparadha is the root cause of all the disorders. So what should be the treatment? The treatment should aim at correcting this prajnaparada. The treatment should focus to correct the prajnaparada. Prajnaparada is nothing but intellectual error. To provide the real knowledge. In order to provide the real knowledge, we have to correct the prajnaparada. Here come the importance of Satvavajaya Chikitsa. According to Ashtang Hridaya, Dhairya Atmadi Vijnanam Manodu Shaushadam Param. According to Charaka, Manaso Jnana Vijnana Dhairya Smrithi Samadhibihi. So let me begin with Satvavajaya Chikitsa in detail. So Sattva is used as synonym of mind, and Avajaya is winning over. Hence, it can be explained as a technique to win over Sattva, or win Sattva over Rajas and Tamas. So what is Jnana? As we discussed before, our main aim is to correct the Prajnaparada. And why we have to correct the Prajnaparada? To provide the real knowledge. We are correcting the intellectual error to provide the real knowledge. The term Jnana is used to express the error-free knowledge. So, detailed description of Jnana is explained in the Charakam Shariram Charaka Sharira fifth chapter. Here, Vidya, Siddhir, Madhir, Medha, Pratnyam, Jnanam, Cha Samataha. So, it includes Vidya, Siddhi, Mati, Medha, Pratnya. These are termed as the synonym of Jnana. Here, Vidya can be Paravidya or Aparavidya. Paravidya is the intellectual knowledge obtained through the study. And Aparavidya is nothing but textual knowledge. What we are gaining is Aparavidya. Here, in the context of the treatment, Vidya comprises of whatever the knowledge we are gaining from the patient about whereabouts of the patient, what he is suffering from at present, or what is the condition, since when the person is suffering from all these problems, that and all can be considered as Vidya. And Siddhi is nothing but accomplishment, attainment, and success. All the things can be considered as Siddhi. Here, what happens in Siddhi? We have to think about the capabilities, incapabilities of the person, strength and weakness of the person, physical and emotional skill of the person. Here, Siddhi, like we have to ask the patient, what exactly you are suffering from, what exactly you are feeling. That we have to ask the patient. Mati is nothing but we are analyzing the fact why we have manifested with that disease. The person is analyzing, and knowledge evolved after thinking over an issue and thereby arriving at a solution. That is nothing but Mati. So why I have manifested this disease? In, for example, the person is having dyspnea and the person is thinking like after analyzing, the person understand that whenever I'm having stress, during that time my breathlessness is getting increased. So the person will be getting that root cause is stress over here. The person is analyzing and coming to a solution here. Then Medha is intelligent, which appear after sacrificing the ignorance. So whatever the impression we have, that is considered as Medha. So if at all any defect is there in Medha, the person will not be having insight. The person may not be having the judgment will not be proper in this condition. So if, for example, people will be saying like this is bad time for me, all this impression will be there. These and all are the problem with Medha. And the person may not be having the insight if there is an issue with the Medha. And Pratnya. What is Pratnya? Pratnya is the highest and purest form of wisdom. So whatever the knowledge which we are gaining till now, and whatever the realization we are gaining from that is considered as Pratnya. Pratnya is nothing but the total realization what we are gaining from the total knowledge which we are gained. So coming to Vijnana, this Vipavam, Virajaha, Shantam, Paramakshara, Mavyayam, these all are the synonyms of Vijnana. Here, this synonyms are meant for letting us know the superiority of Vijnana. So, as per Ayurveda, Chikitsa is not meant for treating just yogis, right? We are treating both roga and yogi here. So not just roga we are treating. So and like we are saying dharma artha kama mokshanam arogyam moolam uttamam. So dharma artha kama moksha. We are giving importance to dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So in view of childhood trauma, we have to clear these obstacles. Like there are several traumas will be there in our life, and in adverse childhood experiences condition, these traumas are there. These traumas are staying as an obstacle to reach the dharma. Until and unless these obstacles are not removed, we'll not be able to think about our dharma, all those things, right? So there is no sukha without dharma. So first we have to, like for reaching the dharma also, what we have to do, we have to first remove these obstacles, then only we can reach the dharma. So once we are getting cleared out of these obstacles, the sattva will be dominant. So like while the growth process will be, I have told you earlier, like each experience will be attached with an emotion, right? So in the same way, like whatever experience we have, that we have to process, and while doing dharana upon it, focusing on a single point, like while doing dharana on the problem, or while doing what is dharana is just focusing on a problem. So we are doing dharana, or if at all we are doing concentrating only on the problem, or we have to do dharana there. and or else we can make the patient to focus on something which he or she wanted to. So from there we are trying to expand the awareness. Just by doing dharana we'll not be able to know what exactly is problem. So then we have to expand the awareness. If at all they are focusing on how it look like, how many petals it has, automatically they have been transcending to the other limb, that is dhyana. After dharana we are trying to transcend them to the other limb dhyana by expanding the awareness. Once we are expanding the awareness, the person will be reaching to a stage of swapna, sushupti, sturya, and at last samadhi. It is not mandatory that everyone will be reaching sushupti, and also in sushupti stage there will be absence of chitta vritti. People will be reaching, though it is Swapna stage, there will be dominance of Sattva during that period rather than mind. So my mental activity will be a little less during Sushupti period and Swapna period, and but the Sattva activity will be more during this period. So some people may even reach to Dhairya, but that will be for very fraction of seconds, and they may come back to the Swapna stage or even Jagrat stage. So while transcending stage as the Sattva is dominant, we'll be getting a new realization that what was able to clear our emotions there. What was the root cause of all my emotions, all these negative experience, these problems which I'm suffering right now. This absolute realization is termed as Vijnana. Dhairyam anunnati chedasa. Dhairyam anunnati chedasa. Dhairyam is nothing but like maintaining the mental balance. Here, though we have done jnana therapy, vijnana therapy, mind will be always seeking for the pleasure, right? For that, mind is attached to this sense organs. When the person seeks more pleasure, it results in addiction. The person starts overeating. The person starts smoking. The person start drinking alcohol. So this dhairya is the willpower to restrain the mind from attaching to the sensual object. It is nothing but restraining the mind from unwholesome object. So here in Sattvaja definition we have studied punarahitebhyo artebhyo manonigraha Sattvaja. This is apt for all the Sattvaja components, but still Dhairya practice is more specific. So in yoga, studied Chit Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This Ahitebhyo Artebhyo Mano Nigraha and Chitta Vritti Nirodha is almost same. So as there is no classical reference available for Dhairya practice, we can adopt the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, where Acharya is saying asana, pranayama, pratyahara can result in chitta vritti nirodha. So here we can use asana, pranayama, pratyahara as a tool for acquiring dhairya. Then what is smriti? From childhood onwards, we start collecting many impressions from our surroundings. They are registered in our memory and they send negative impression like adverse childhood experiences we have discussed before. Like this will causes psychic problems like phobia, arrogance, guilt, persecution, feeling of loneliness, melancholia. And this may not be the nature of person. The person may be very aggressive. The person will be having phobia. The person will be feeling loneliness, but that is not the exact nature of the person. So by doing this smruti technique, what happens? Smruti technique helps us to deepen into the subconscious to get the real time awareness of the memory of emotions. We are finding the memory and like what is the what I'm feeling now, what is the emotion attached that experiences, and we are finding the real root cause of the condition, and so that we can clear our problem. So by doing smriti technique or smriti therapy, what happens? We can dissolve our emotion to create new impression. Subsequently, memory become more clear and sharp. What about samadhi? Samadhi is a practice to bring back the soul to its place. Meditation. Here, all in this process are doing meditation. Here, what happens as a result of continued awareness of emotions, the person experiences dissolution of emotion either by expression from them or by change in the attitude. This results in deeper relaxation or and yoga state is achieved by continuing practice And as a point of calmness practice here, like in samadhi, the person will be very calm and the person will be attaining like a thoughtless stage, and very silent, thoughtless state is the often the person experience a glimpse of samadhi. Even though short span of samadhi can have powerful healing power. So repeated practice of smriti clears the negative emotions, impression from subconscious mind, and it will be clearing all our negative emotions, and the person will be feeling coming to the yukti vyapasaya chikitsa. So as like here the and pitta dosha will be dominant here more. May have a line of management like brahmi grita, kalyana grita, saraswata grita, ashwagandha grita can be advised in this condition. Medhi dravyas like brahmi, vacha, shankapushpi, guduchi, yashtimadu can be advised. Why we are selecting grita? So these gritas are vata pitta hara, as well as they are some by the process of samskarasya nivartana property, and like it is as it is a shreshta rasayana, we can utilize all these Ghritas. And Medhi Rasayanas, obviously we can use it. And if at all any irritability is there, sleep disturbance are there, or cognitive symptoms are there in the patient, we can go for Shiro Abhyanga, Shirodhara, Shirobasti, and Shiropichu with Vatahara Dravyas. Root cause of mental as well as many physical problem lies in childhood. Neglecting children and their problem is like neglecting the foundation for the next generation. Measures need to be done to prevent and manage the toxic stress in children. To build a better future, we need to build better brains. Let me conclude the session. Thank you.
Thank you there, Dr. Nagar. Thanks for a good presentation on an interesting topic. Toxic stress might be a new topic for many of us. The parameters of looking into it, and what is Ayurveda look into it, and how we need to manage toxic stress. So toxic stress, I think you have linked with adversity, Dr. Anaga. So we'll come back to that. So
Okay,
Saujanya
sir.
has a question. How one can, yeah, sure. How one can correct prajnaparadha clinically? What ways you have adapted in treating patients? So to add up, how can we first of all diagnose what are the parameters when some patient is coming to our clinic with toxic stress or whatever. So let's think that we are handling the mental condition. Prajnaparadha. So, is how important is it as a part of history taking, and how, as a
Yes, sir.
Manasa Tagna specialist in Manasa Roga, do you give importance to the Prajnaparadha, and which factors would you consider as Prajnaparadha, and what methods you have adopted in treating the patients by identifying and isolation of Prajnaparadha?
So here Prajnaparada is nothing but the Smriti Vibhramshta Karmayat Kurute Yeshubam Prajnaparadam Tam Vidya Sarvadosha Prakopanam. Here whatever the act we are doing, whatever the act we are committing due to the Vibhrama, Tridi Vibhrama and Smruti Vibhrama is considered as Prajnaparada. Here the person is committing these mistakes due to Vibhrama, Smruti Vibhrama. So it is like first we have to correct the intellectual error. We are correcting the intellectual error here. It is like there is the though we have done it due to Divi Brahma, Driti Brahma, and Shruti Vibrahma. I've told few examples before itself. Like in Divi Brahma, the person is unable to decide. At that time, a person is unable to decide what has to be done, what should not be done, and person is doing a mistake there. And rest of the life, the person will be regretting about that mistake, and that will be there deep inside our mind. And later on, like that will be attached with an emotion, and this emotion will be carried out through the lifelong. And later, for example, the similar experience is there in future, the person will be developing with some other psychological condition, the person will be developing panic attack or some other condition, and this is nothing but that emotion is attached with that experience. The person will be getting that memory of the previous experiences, and that is triggering the present condition. But the person may not be aware that this my present problem is because of the past experience which I had before. So by doing this Jnana, Vijnana and Smruti therapies, what happened during, there is a like technique called Smruti meditation. By doing the Smruti meditation, by doing Dharana, like we are asking the patient to focus on, like we slowly we'll be taking the patient to a meditative stage, and we're asking the patient to focus on like or do the dharana on a specific object which the patient either the patient like, or if the patient is like emotional during that time, the same thing can be used for dharana. Otherwise we can give an object, and that object can be used as dharana, and slowly we have to transcend them to the dhyana stage by expanding their awareness. How we have to expand their awareness? We have to expand their awareness by asking each and every aspect about it, like how it is and how whatever you're seeing and whatever had happened, and slowly they'll be able to realize their sattva will be dominant, so that they can, like, most of the time we'll be thinking in conscious mind, right? Our conscious mind may not be having the access to the all the past memories, but our subconscious mind will be having as access to the past memories. So here sattva is dominant, so we can easily access the past memories, and we once we realize that these present problems are due to the my experience, the past adverse experience that had developed or that had happened, or past mistake which I have done. By realizing that itself, half of the problem will get resolved, and the person will get a realization, and the person will be having their own solution. And even in jnana therapy, if you really wanted to, what I can say, clear this problem, for example, in jnana process itself, if you wanted to clear the problem, while asking the patient, the person will be saying like, I don't know the root cause of the problem, what I'm going through, I'm not clear about it, I'm getting repeated headaches since many days, and the adult person will be saying, and the person may not be knowing the exact cause of that problem. And later while asking, and then will be leading the patient, and later sometimes, very rarely, in prajna I have told, right, in prajna stage we will be getting an realization like what exactly that problem, because like I had during my first episode, like that kind of stress had happened in my life, or some grievous or some, like, what I can say, frightful thing had happened in my life. Because of that, I've developed with this sort of headache, and later whenever I'm having a mild stress also, I'm developing with this headache. Once the person is having that realization, even this headache episode will be very less frequent later on.
Do you mean to tell, Dr. Naka, that people commit some mistakes? Like, I'll give an example. Smoking is injurious to health is written on the cigarette pack. The person is educated and he or she can read as well, but still they'll go ahead with smoking that.
Sir.
Can we consider this as prajnaparadha? Because though they know that it is a mistake,
Yes,
they
sir.
can land up with some problems. Still, they have an attachment. You mentioned the word attachment. Like they're doing
Yes,
some
sir.
mistakes, there is an attachment to that particular mistake, and that mistake is done in a state of consciousness, and that needs to be detached from the patient.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how easy or
Yes,
how
sir.
difficult as a clinical practitioner for you to detach, make the patients get detached? First of all, how easy or how difficult it is for you as a clinician sitting on the chair, you have patient in front of you. First of all, identifying the prajnaparadha. People may not accept, or people may not commit to tell that this is because, see, it is a human tendency that
Yes, sir.
we don't accept our problems, like our
Yes.
mistakes, isn't it? First of all, it
Yes,
needs a
sir.
lot of courage for a person to accept the mistake that they are doing,
Yes, sir.
and after that acceptation only they will oblige to come into the pathway of detachment from that. What are the challenges for a manasa roga tagna, or for any physician, in fact, to identify, to convince the patient that they're doing this mistake? And because the egoism comes in between, so the ego part of the patient or any
Yes,
person,
sir.
like it may be a mistake for the doctor. Like you may tell that every day
Yes,
you're
sir.
taking some curds or something at night or at some time, and that is why you're catching up with cold. The person may argue that it is my family food and it is my traditional food. I have not been affected. Nobody is affected in the family. So what is identified as a mistake by the physician may not be from the patient's perspective. There may be an ego clash there. So how to handle that?
In the beginning, they may not be accepting that, and like we need not have to explain them all these things like we should not do that, you should not do this, we should not. They should themselves realize that this is bad for them, and like in the beginning, they may not be saying all this, and we should not correct them. Like we should let them speak and let them realize by themselves that like this problem is due to this. Like in Jnana process itself, while thinking about like beginning, the person may not be accepting the things. They'll be saying, I'm getting angry, I'm getting like like wife is not good, like wife is not behaving well, all those things the person may be saying in the beginning. But like then we'll be asking the leading question rather than counseling them, or rather than like what I can say giving advices. We'll be asking them, how was the past condition, what changes had happened right now, how your kids are, how previously it was. All this leading question will be asking, and slowly the person will be getting a realization that before, because of their anger issue, or because of their because of his problem, his life is going in this way. That will be a realization. Some rarely that realization happens in the Jnana process itself. But during during Vijnana process, like when we are conscious at that time, like the ego will be like, or you have told no, that ego factor and all, like that will be working more. Like we'll be thinking only consciously, and we'll be making all the what I can say, we'll be thinking like that should be done. Like mind is more active during that period, right? In Jagrat period, the Jagrat stage, the mind will be more active. But whereas we are taking the patient to a Swapna stage, the Swapna stage, when we are taking the patient to a Swapna stage, in that condition, Sattva will be dominant and mind will be a little inactive. In that stage, like the person himself get a realization that these are the problem which he is suffering from. So there is no need of explaining them, this is your problem or you have to change it. And if you're trying someone to change in that way, we definitely will not be able to change a person. If they are realizing by themselves, then that is the best solution for that. That is why the Smrithi meditation and all these techniques are very important in clinical practice right now.
Namaste. It was an excellent presentation. My question to you is when a
Thank
child
you, ma'am.
walks in with a parent and the child complains of repeated headaches and the parent kind of saying yes, there is his moods have changed and things like that. And when you're talking about Dharana being the first step, so if we were to ask this child to think, to find out what was the root cause to this, probably meditating, or probably thinking about in those lines, maybe the child would probably come to one or two incidences where that could have been a trigger for that child. And but just constantly thinking about the negative. Once the child figures out that was the incident that triggered it, and then like constantly, repeatedly thinking about the same incident, wouldn't it get it worse? That's one of my questions.
So whenever the person is getting to know that this is the problem which he has faced, like we may feel like constantly reminding, like in conscious stage, if you are thinking it repeated times, that will be having a harmful effect on us. But in that stage, we are in a meditative stage, and we are getting realization from that stage. Like, and very small children are not what I can say taken for this meditation, first of all. But still, like whenever we are doing meditative stage, if the person is realizing, their mental activity will be a little less when the sattva activity will be dominant. For example, if you are taking sattva and mind, or again a soul mind proportion, if you are taking in Jagrat stage, it will be around, for example, what I can say 4:1 I can consider. Like in Jagrat stage, the sattva dominant will be around 1:4. Okay, 1:4. 1 for this soul and 4 for like mind. But in Swapna Avastha, what happens? This one, the proportion will be like 2:3. 2:3 means the sattva dominance is increasing there, and the mind activity will be decreasing there. Okay, they have done a lot of research on that too. Like soul get activated more and mind become little inactive. When mind become little inactive, what happens? The person will realize from that, and it is not like mind is not overthinking about it, and mind will be indulging in that part. The sattva realizes that this is the fact. Because of this, suffering this problem. And one more thing I would like to say, in one or two sittings, we'll not be able to clear the whole problem. We may have to take multiple sittings. By taking the multiple sitting, we'll be get to know the exact root cause of the problem which a person or child is suffering from.
Thank you very much. And my second question would be, how do you take them into the swapna stage? Is it through oral medications, or is it just the training of the mind
No,
that
no,
you
no,
take
no.
them to that stage?
Just okay. It's like first we'll be doing Jnana process. Jnana process means I'll be, if I'm doing Smrithi technique on you, I'll be speaking with you, and I'll be interacting with you more, and I'll be getting to know about you more. Then like when we are a little, you are a little emotional, or that time we are taking you to a meditation stage, and we are asking, I'm asking you to do dharana on a specific object. So while doing dharana, and slowly we'll be taking you to a meditative stage. Like it's not nothing medication, nothing is involved there. Just we are by interacting, when you are emotional, at that time we are taking you to a meditative stage, and we are asking you to do dharana on a specific object. And later, we are trying to expand your awareness from there. And while expanding your awareness, how you can expand your awareness? By asking a few questions, like how it is, like you will be visualizing it, and it is not that difficult as you think. Whenever we are doing meditation, we'll be going deeper into it, and when as sattva is dominant, we can only concentrate more on it, and we can expand our awareness, and we can go to the dhyana avastha. It is not that difficult process, but the
So
complete
I still
we
have
should be having that will.
Yeah,
We should
Jayaravi,
have the
please.
will to do that.
Okay. I still have
I
this
should be
question
ready
about
for that.
how do you take them to the meditative stage? What exactly do you take? Because when they get emotional, they're going to break down, right? So how do you then take them into the meditative stage?
Okay, it's no matter if they break down, or no matter, like there is nothing like you have to control your emotions there. It's like if you're feeling like crying, like we'll let you cry. If you're feeling like laughing, we'll let you laugh. Like we'll not or control any emotions there. Like in meditative stage itself, some people will be laughing, some people will be crying with their emotions, and if they're really ready to share it, they'll be sharing it. It's nothing like we are not stopping any emotions there in between. Like it's very though the patient is emotionally burst up, in that condition we can take the patient easily to the meditative stage.
Do you mean to
Okay.
tell?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you,
Emotion,
Jayaravi. So
it's
I would
like
like to.
emotionally not like if the patient is emotionally a little low, the person is starting intellect. If I'm speaking intellectually, you can never take me to a meditative stage. If I'm speaking emotionally, you can easily take me to a meditative stage.
Meditative stage is also a stage of semi-consciousness, or
Yeah.
making the patient to sleep. Is it like an extended part of hypnosis therapy, or a variant of hypnosis therapy, or something like that, Dr. Nagar?
It can be considered, it's a psychotherapy itself. I won't say that it's a hypnotherapy, but still the patient will not be in completely Jagrata Avastha. The person will be in a subconscious mind will be dominant there. But the thing is that in dreams and all, we'll not be able to recall the dreams which we have seen before, right? So, but the realization which we are gaining through the Swapna Avastha and Sushupti Avastha, that will be staying for long period in our mind. Like what I can say, till our death, all this, like what I can say, we can remember all those things, like whatever realization which we are gained from that period. It is not like we can't call it as a dream as we are seeing in night. It's like it's totally different. And here
All
sattva is
the
dominant. There mind is
hmm.
okay.
All this exercise is to enhance the sattva quality, or how do you summarize this, like Smruti meditation? One question is there in Smruti meditation: why the word Smruti has been used? Number one. And what is the summation of this exercise by doing that? One thing I understood is during the Suptavastha and also Jagratavastha, the sattva quality, like the quantity may vary. Do we want to operate on the sattva quantum, the quantity of sattva, and balance it and also evoke certain things, or how exactly this is operating? So in a nutshell, in brief, can you explain? First of all, starting with why it is called as Smrithi meditation.
So we are using Smruthi therapy here. We are actually like taking the patient to a meditative stage, and the person could recall the previous experiences here. And it's like
Is it like inquiring about the previous experiences and
it's
to
okay.
detach them from the previous experiences and the emotional attachment to the bad practices, to detach them? You make the person realize to go to a stage of like emotional breakdown or emotional expression, and then take them to trance and try to operate on the mind or something like that? Or is the procedure very difficult that unless we see how it is done, it is very difficult to understand?
So let me brief it. It's like
Yes.
so Smruti is a technique like we'll be having as you told before, as you told is exactly right, sir. So like there will be having so many negative impressions in our life, right? So it is like so many like these are all negative experiences will be attached with an emotion, right? So like Smriti techniques help us to. So Smriti meditation is a guided interactive meditation technique developed to overcome some of the above set of like what I can say. Like I've told you a few obstacles, right? What are negative adversarial experiences? All those things will be there. That obstacles will be there, right, sir? Like in order to like it's an interactive meditation technique to overcome these obstacles, and it's an assist like one experienced person will be assisting the other client or whoever is sitting in front of you, and like will be helping you to deep into the subconscious to get the real time awareness of memory of emotions. And like when we are getting the real time awareness of the memory of emotion, we'll be able to recognize the root cause of the emotion. And this when we realize the root cause of emotion, what happens, we'll be helped to dissolve the emotion to create new impression. Subsequently, memory become more clear and more sharp. Here, what we're doing is we'll be formulating a proper goal first, and we'll be focusing on that goal, and we'll be trying to expand the awareness of the goal, and we'll be sustaining the awareness on an object of meditation. Whatever the like, what is the whenever we'll be setting an object, right? Object for meditation. So we'll be sustaining the awareness there, and then we are addressing the emotional obstacles there.
Object for meditation, can we get an example? What type of
So,
objects
for
do you
example,
prefer a person to
like you
focus
are
upon?
going into the meditation. So, if at all, if I'm asking you to visualize something, like I'm doing meditation right now, and I'm asking my client to visualize a mountain. Okay, whenever I'm asking a patient to visualize a mountain, like for example, that can be considered as an object for meditation. Okay, like here, like visualize that object. I'm asking the patient, please visualize that object. I'm giving this mountain, but the person is like very sad, depressed. Such people will be visualizing, what I can say, what something which is like filled with snow. Such kind of mountain they'll be visualizing. So, like deep inside, some people will be visualizing a green mountain. Some people will be visualizing very dry mountain. These all are like based on their emotion. Their emotion will be reflected in their object of meditation too. I'm just asking them to visualize a mountain there, but
So
they are not like
does the color of the mountain, what they visualize, will give you an idea
will
how
be
to deal with
different.
that? Will it give
But
you
because
an
we'll be
no, Dr. Ranaga, will
okay.
that color, will that, see, different people may visualize different colors, but does that color give
Yes,
you
sir.
an idea how to manipulate that patient?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll be manipulating it. Why? Because we'll be asking the patient how the mountain is and how we are seeing that mountain and all. We'll be asking. Later, what happens is while expanding, and while sustaining the awareness and like while trying to expand it, the person will be saying like I'm feeling sad. And like what emotion you are feeling when you are seeing that. That now we'll be asking and manipulating them. And Later, they'll be explaining about their emotions, and we'll be asking them in Smrithi meditation, like I'm not the authority to teach Smrithi meditation, but still I'll just give you few hints, sir. It's like the person will be giving an object there, and the person is how it is, how it looks like, and what emotion you are feeling when you are seeing that object. All those things we'll be asking the patient. Then what happens is like they'll be realizing that this emotion is there in my mind, and by probing we'll be getting to know what exactly their problem is. But it may take 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, but when we get a positive outcome at the end, at that time we'll be stopping the Smruthi meditation.
Thank you there, Dr. Naga. Doctor, some people have stress because of vyadis, and what's the best approach to de-stress the person? A person suffering from stress due to vyadis, what is your approach? Quick answer and short answer, Dr. Naga.
Sir, in this condition also Smrithi meditation can be done so that they'll be realizing the actual problem present over here, and they'll be ready to accept the problem, and they'll be able to, that Dhairya therapy can be done in this condition. Dhairya Manunadi Chetasa.
Thank you there. And
okay, so my question is, if the person has a very bad childhood memory or a daunting memory which has made them more depressive and agitated. Now they don't want to go back and revive those memories because those are very, very critical memories, and they don't want to bring back to release it. How do you manage that? Because that's why sometimes they get aggravated when you question about their detail into the memories, right? They get very agitated and they don't want to talk about it. Okay. That brings their emotion back, or whatever they want to release and get away from those thoughts. Then what do you do?
Here we are not interrupting any memories, ma'am. It's like whichever memories, what I can say, we are not asking the patient directly what and all problems you have suffered from previous, what I can say, in past life, all those things. We are not asking the patient. Here, only thing what I can say, we are taking them to a stage of meditation. In that stage, in subconsciously, if you are thinking, it will be a problem for them. But when in meditative stage, they can deal with it. They themselves can find out what I can say, a solution for that. It's not like we have to help them, or we have they'll not, at that time they'll not hesitate to share it. Sometimes they may hesitate to share it, but they'll be getting a solution in the meditative stage itself. We are just guiding them. They are ultimately, they are the ones who are getting the solution, not us.
Okay. But is it because sometimes they have a hard time to do the meditate, they cannot concentrate, or they cannot, so their mind is not at all at par, and it's in a severe condition probably. Then how do we bring them to in a meditative state?
Yeah, that's an
until and unless.
That's an interesting question from Enkaria. I'll make it short, Dr. Naga. Question number 1 from Enkaria Haji is what if the person cannot focus, if you are asking the person to visualize certain things and the person is not able to do that at all, number 1. And number 2, if the person is not willing to go back and visit those memories, haunting memories, the person is not willing. So what is plan B there?
There, if at all, in meditative state, the person is not willing to or go into it, and they're still they're coming back, and they're trying to prevent it there. Actually, they are logically thinking rather than emotionally. They're not thinking emotionally there. And, actually, they are not in meditative stage. That's why they are in coming back. If they are really in meditative stage, they'll not, or I can say, interrupt in between, or they'll say, I don't want to share, all those things. If the patient is really not ready to share, let them not share. That's enough. And if it's not mandatory that every time they have to share and all, but we can guide them and we can help them to get the realization. That's it. It's without, some people may not share everything. Whatever they are visualizing, they may not be sharing. Whatever the realization they are getting, they may not be sharing. Finally, after this Smrithi meditation therapy, the person will be getting a benefit. That's it.
The question is, meditation means unbroken flow of knowledge in the object. When the link is developed between the mind's activity and the chosen object, when the link is developed between the mind's activities and the chosen object, how a person can hear us? Wouldn't it break the focus? You're trying to establish a link between mind activity and a chosen object, like asking the person to visualize and focus on that, isn't it? The question is, how a person can hear, how a person can hear us, like when you are giving commands, how the person could hear you. Wouldn't it break the focus?
No, it will not break the focus actually. Like if at all they are, what I can say, getting distracted, they can share that with us directly at any time. Actually, if like in the beginning, it will be like the person will be anyway thinking logically. Once we are taking them to like what I can say, do dharana an object or to an object, and once really they are able to, what I can say, visualize the thing, if they are able to transcend to the next level, definitely there will not be any problem or issues. Like there will not be an interruption. Our voice will not be an interruption to him.
Okay, thank you there, Dr. Anaga. So I think we have come to the end of the session. We also run out of time, so due to some technical glitches. The last question from my side, since we have started the topic as a toxic stress, and we understand that Smruthi meditation is one of the total focus and discussion, because it was a very interesting aspect. Many questions related to Smruthi meditation came into the focus. I think, including me, many of us still couldn't exactly get the idea, I think, until it's because it is very easy to understand only when we see the procedure being done on us or somebody else. But to an extent, the information given was a new one. And so the Smruthi meditation, the concept, how the patient is handled in two different stages, an awakened stage and also in a like a say semi-slept stage, where we are trying to send the person into a different journey. And when the person comes back from that particular journey, many things will be detached and the person might be afresh, like different perspective and different approach towards the same things. This is what I understood. Apart from toxic stress, Dr. Naga, so this Smruthi meditation would be a best remedy to all the psychiatric illnesses and also the mental problems, or are there any issues where Smruthi meditation doesn't work? This will be the last question.
Like it will be for psychiatric disorders as well as psychosomatic disorder. It will be a very good remedy actually. Like we can, if at all insight is there, we can practice this meditation all on any person. But insight should be there. In like psychotic condition, we will not be able to practice this. Why? Because there will be delusion and hallucination will be there, and the person will not be like there will not be connection with the reality in psychotic condition. So if the connection with the reality is there, if the patient is having the insight that the person is suffering from a disease, definitely we can go for Smruthi meditation in any of the condition. But if the insight is not there, we will not be able to do Smruthi meditation at all.
A big thanks and namaste to Dr. Anaga on behalf of our Easy Ayurveda and all participants and family Easy Ayurveda. Thank you so much, Dr. Anaga.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
A big thanks. Namaste and plenty of love to all of you. Namaste.